Good morning. Somebody put a picture here with me and Otto. Wow. Otto has been a friend of mine since about 45 years, almost 50. Yeah. Yeah, we're here to celebrate his life, to celebrate his spirit. You know, what great impact he had on many, many people. When you saw yesterday the slideshow and the comments from all the professionals, it's like you kind of realize how many lives he touched, and certainly he touched ours, because otherwise we wouldn't be here. And my name is Brother Asimananda, and people will ask, what does that mean? Well, Asimananda is a Sanskrit name, and it means bliss through unity with infinity. And I'm a monk of Self-Realization Fellowship since about 40 years. It's my guru, Paramahansa Yogananda. I grew up Catholic, and then I read something from Yogananda, and then he said, well, practice for a year and see how it affects your life. And if you like it, stick to it, continue to do it. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. And I thought, well, I can't put it aside now and not practice. And he said also, prove me wrong. And I really tried hard to prove him wrong. And I didn't succeed. I ended up here. Yogananda came to the West to bring meditation techniques so people can enlarge their consciousness, their channel of consciousness, so truth can flow in unhindered by dogma and wrong beliefs. So we get in touch with truth and live it. Otto used to visit Lake Shrine in the Palisades regularly in the early days, and later I was stationed for 10 years at Lake Shrine. He would send his visitors down, and I would host them around the lake. He would always have a good connection to it. Though he himself would not see himself as spiritual, he was definitely not a churchgoer, but he lived spiritual principles. And we all know that, how he treated people, how he gave them the attention. He would always think of others and make sure they're doing well. When I talked to him about kind of spiritual things, he said, well, I let Monica take care of that. And when you have admin house, you saw the crystals and all that. So, yeah. We all have different concepts of God. Some may be atheists and do not believe in God. Others are spiritual seekers. Whatever beliefs we have, there's one fact remains, that there is, if you look at the universe, it's just this beautiful, harmonious structure. There's an intelligence behind it which pushes itself out in the universe. And if you don't believe in God, I challenge you to become a scientist, like an Einstein. And then you may say, like he did, everyone who is seriously involved in the pursuit of science becomes convinced that a spirit is manifest in the laws of the universe, a spirit vastly superior to that of man. And that's just a fact, and that spirit is being worshipped in many, many different ways, and that spirit doesn't care how we worship him. It just is your heart in it. That's all we look for. So this occasion, and I will refer to that spirit in our little prayers we do as Father, Mother, Friend, Beloved God. Though he doesn't have a sex, but if we give it a human form as a man or a woman, then our hearts are easier to open, then easier to worship a universal spirit. So on these occasions, like a memorial, the spirit of the departed is drawn to us. We think, oh, they're far away. Well, then they're not. They're right here. They're just not, we don't see them because our senses are limited. We only see a little spectrum of this vast electromagnetic spectrum of the universe. We see a little sliver of 350 nanometers to 700 nanometers. We are literally blind to reality. But we think this is absolute truth. It's not. This is what our senses give us. But there's a vast presence of the smallest electromagnetic wave to the largest electromagnetic wave. And that's all the presence of God. We say God is omnipresent. Omnipresent means everywhere, even in you, even in me, even here, everywhere, in this moment. Not in the future, not in the past, but now, here, no. So the spirit of Otto is present, drawn by your love, by your friendship. And let's honor that spirit by standing up. And I say a little prayer, and you may repeat after me or just repeat silently. It's all focus within and focus on that presence of spirit and the presence of Otto. Heavenly Father, Mother, friend, beloved God, saints of all religions, we bow to you all. Lift us from darkness, ignorance, and uncertainty to the clear light of your presence. Touch our hearts with your love, inflame our souls with your joy. Please be seated. So we are gathered here to honor the heavenly ascension of Otto Nemenz. He has gone ahead of us, and to express our gratitude for the love and kindness he manifested while with us. Though he leaves a void, we shall miss him. We are happy that he is enshrined in our hearts through the many, many good memories we have with him. We offer him our love, goodwill, and friendship. These occasions are both sad and joy. And there's a sadness and bring sadness and joy. The sadness is ours for the time. The joy is his, for his spirit is now risen. He lives, Otto lives, in a different vibrational space. Yesterday there was often people would say at the end of their eulogies, rest in peace. And then I think, well, where is Otto resting in peace? That means we all assume there is something after this earthly life, right? So there is something. You can look forward to it. It's a wonderful space. So in the words of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord expresses this continuity of spirit, how it moves on. He says, never the spirit was born. The spirit shall cease to be never. We shall never cease to exist, because we are from spirit come, from spirit we go back. Never was time, it was not. End and beginning are dreams. Birthless and deathless remaineth the spirit forever. Death hath not touched it at all, that though the house it seems. And then he continues to say what this life looks like. I say to thee, weapons reach not this spiritual life. Flame burns it not. Waters cannot overwhelm, nor dry winds wither it. Impenetrable, unentered, unassailed, unharmed, untouched, immortal, all arriving, stable, sure, invisible and ineffable, by word and though uncompassed, ever all itself. Thus is the soul declared. The end of birth is death, the end of death is birth. This is ordained. So we never question when somebody is born, where do they come from? We hardly talk about death. We think, it's something to be feared of. But it belongs to that cycle of life, like life itself. Birth, life, death. We move through this stage, and there's nothing to be feared of, because my mother, she didn't come out of a coma after a heart surgery for 10 days, and then she came out and she said, "Oh, I've seen the angels." And then I asked her, what was it? And she said, well, then she described the astral realm she was in, the intensity of the colors, the beauty, the peace and the joy she felt. And then she said something which proved to me that she had a true experience. She said, and this was more real than anything else I have ever experienced in my 80 years of life. And then I knew, because Paramahansa Yogananda, he says, this is the dream. Our spiritual existence is the reality. And now, when we die actually every day. Have you ever thought of that? We die every day. Now we are in waking consciousness, right? And then we think this is reality. And when we fall asleep, we forget this realm. Totally. We wake up in our dream world. We have a dream body. We act, we fight, we make love. Everything is like, yes, And then, or if we have a nightmare, we run and try to escape, and all that. Our heart pumps, and then this fades slowly away. And suddenly we wake up, wow, it was a dream. And exactly that's Yogananda said that when we die, the first thing we realize is it was a dream. It wasn't real. So we have to something to look forward for. In the 23rd Psalm, in those occasions, we quote some part of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. So there is something. There's something there where I'm going. And I'm safe. I'm taken care of. There's another quote in the Bible which talks about the unreality of this space here. In the Corinthians, St. Paul, he wrote, we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. For we know, if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, eternal in heaven. That's what he's in it. Yes, there is something. We are going to a beautiful space, and we'll be safe there. Now, let's listen to a song. Otto liked, Hawaiian. He liked Over the Rainbow. And as we listen to the song, just tune into the spirit of Otto. Think about your friendship with him. How did he impact your life? If you have to tell him something, say it in mentally to him. They receive the thoughts we send them to them. Immediately, there's no space, there's no time difference, it goes there right away. And I know it 100%. I got confirmation from the other side that my prayers really helped them a lot. Now, I was really kind of taken aback because I never prayed for them. But whenever I thought of the godfather of my mother, he had passed on. Whenever I thought of him, I would send him a thought, said, I send you my love and goodwill. I hope you have a good time. That's all I did. And then I got confirmation later that, they received it and said how much it helped them. So any thought we think about now, think about Otto, and then he'll receive it, and then he'll receive our love and goodwill. Let's play the song. And then after the song ends, we'll have a 1 minute of silence. On occasions like this, Paramahansa Yogananda would tell us a story about the young man who was in the prime of his life, and he was told by his doctors that there was no hope left for him in this world, and he would soon pass on. The youth family wept bitter tears of sympathy and sorrow, but the young man smiled with joy. To him death came as a friend, a liberator. Following are a few of his words of comfort to the grieving family. He had got a glimpse of the afterlife in He says, my beloved God will soon open the prison gates of my life and embrace me in his infinite arms. The balloon of earthly life will break, and the imprisoned breath of life will cross the mortal shore and reach his immaculate kingdom of joyous dreams, where no nightmares of illness will dare to cross the threshold of my peace. My nightmare of desires has ceased. My dreams of grief are broken. The light of laughter has awakened. My light has plunged into the divine light and is playing over the splendors of eternity. The shadows of fanciful fears have slipped away, and the infinite light has spread over the dark nooks of my soul. For me, no breaking of bones, no accidents, no fear of failure, no financial loss will ever exist. No thought of unpaid bills will ever be gnawing at my soul. No discourtesies, nor naggings, nor quarrels, nor pain, nor disease will ever dare make a noise when all the doors of my senses are closed, for I will be roaming with my divine beloved on the tracks of cosmic freedom. Do not weep for me dark tears, weeping for your loss in me, for I weep for you joyous tears, because I am going before you, for your welfare's sake, to light candles of wisdom all the way, and I will wait to welcome you there, where I shall be with my only beloved and yours. So everyone is going to die someday, you know. When I was I visited Otto in Hawaii, and we sang a song to him. Life is just a bowl of cherries, you know. And it's an old song from the 1930s, and there's a line in there. It says, "The sweet things in life to you are just loaned. So how can you lose what you never really owned? And then you can't take the dough when you go, go, go." Everyone comes naked and goes naked. You know, that's just the reality. There's nothing bad about it. It's just that's what it is. What we really take with us is our inner happiness, our inner joy, and our relationship with our greater self. Yogananda writes, everybody's going to die someday. You don't feel miserable at the prospect of losing consciousness of your body. In sleep, you accept sleep as a state of freedom to look forward to. So is death. It is a state of rest, a pension from this life. There is nothing to fear. When death comes, laugh at it all. Death is only an experience through which you are meant to learn a great lesson. You cannot die. And Yogananda said, when you wake, oh, I'm not dead. That's the first surprise. Our real self, the soul, is immortal. We may sleep for a little while in that change called death, but we can never be destroyed. We exist, and that existence is eternal. We exist eternally. You know, just in our delusion, we think, you know, I'm this body and I have this and I'm only so much. Yogananda explains often that the soul's nature, you know, he says it's like the wave in the ocean. He says the wave comes to the shore and then goes back to the sea. It's not lost. It becomes one with the ocean and returns again in the form of another wave. This body has come and it will vanish, but the soul essence within it will never cease to exist. Nothing can terminate that eternal consciousness. So we come of this, it's like every wave in the ocean is always connected with the ocean, you know. But as if the wave thinks, I am the only wave, and this is another wave, and this is separate of me, and this is separate of me, and this wave is separate from me. That's this our ego consciousness. In our ego consciousness, we feel separate from each other, while in reality, we are connected to the whole universe in spirit. Some famous words of some scientists, famous people who have died, you know. Dr. William Hunter, he wrote on his deathbed, he said, "If I had the strength to hold a pen, I would write how easy and pleasant dying is." Thomas Edison, he said to his wife while dying, "Oh, it's so beautiful there." Steve Jobs, who had the autobiography on his phone, the only book, and who on his memorial, everybody got an autobiography of a yogi. When he died, he just had words to say, "Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow." So now let's have celebrate Otto's life and a few eulogies. There's some tissues here.
Hello, everybody. Today we gather to honor the life and legacy of Otto, a visionary, a mentor, and a man whose impact reached across continents and across hearts. From Hollywood and Los Angeles to the serene shores of Maui, and all the way back to his roots in Austria, Otto's life was a bridge between worlds, between art and technology, ambition and humility, family and community. Otto's contribution to the film industry was nothing short of exceptional. He was a pioneer who raised the standards of craftsmanship and innovation, building not just a company, but a legacy that supported storytellers and shaped cinema itself. His reputation for excellence extended far beyond Hollywood. It was a reflection of his values, his commitment, and his belief in supporting others. Yet, Otto's greatest legacy was found in the love that surrounded him. In his final years, his daughter Patty devoted herself to his well-being with limitless love and compassion. She stood by him through every challenge, ensuring he was cared for, supported, and never alone. Stacy, who's not here today, who moved in a year and a half ago, brought warmth, comfort, and the everyday tenderness that made him feel safe and deeply loved. Together, they created a circle of care that honored Otto's dignity and filled his days with grace. And then there is Meg, Otto's assistant, an extraordinary presence in his life. Meg worked tirelessly to care for his every need, always with a smile. She brought laughter into his days, lightness into difficult moments, and the way she made even the hardest days easier simply by being herself. She was not just his assistant, she was a source of comfort, humor, and unwavering support. Though much of Otto's life unfolded in the United States, his roots in Austria remained an important part of him. His upbringing shaped his values, his work ethic, and his character, and the friendships he built there lasted a lifetime. Many friends and colleagues across Austria and Europe will feel his absence deeply, remembering him not just for his professional achievements, but for his warmth, generosity, and the steady loyalty he carried with him. Maui, meanwhile, was Otto's sanctuary, a place where he found peace, beauty, and the quiet space to reflect. There, surrounded by the rhythm of the ocean and the embrace of nature, he found a balance that nourished his soul. Otto leaves behind a legacy woven from creativity, dedication, kindness, and love. His influence continues in the stories that, through the cameras he championed, in the careers he supported, and in the memories held by those who loved him. To his family, he was a pillar of strength and wisdom. To his colleagues and friends across the world, he was a mentor and a cherished companion. To Patty, Stacy, and Meg, he was someone to protect, to comfort, and to love. And they did so with extraordinary devotion. Thank you, Otto, for your vision, your humanity, your laughter, and your heart. You will be deeply missed and forever remembered. I've put some photos of Otto on the little tables. You are very welcome to take one or few. And I also understand that Heinz Feldhaus has something to say on video now, because he himself could not be here. Thank you.
In 1995, Otto, Monica, and I, we were in Australia, and we were going to meet a cameraman we have never met ever before, David Egby. David finished a project in Queensland and was going to prepare a new film in Italy with Sylvester Stallone called Daylight. Otto, Monica, David, and I went to a restaurant and started talking, eating, and drinking. After a short time, Otto was bored and fell asleep. David asked about service of Ari in Italy, actually Ari rental in Italy, and he had stories about his time in this business. When David said that he once owned a camouflage camera, Otto suddenly was alive, like a bang, and took over the next hour talking about cameras and lenses. Yes, Otto is a titan in this industry, and I and we all miss him very, very much. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to talk and say something about Otto? If you come, keep it about to 5 minutes. Graham, come on. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. I'm Graham Richardson, and I've known Otto for about 30 odd years. And I'm only going to talk about two subjects today, and one of them is Otto's involvement with motorcycles, and also a travelogue actually, of that Otto took me on to where he spent a lot of his young life, and that was the city of Istanbul and the Turkish coast. And the purpose, we'll start with the motorcycles as soon as I can find, here we go. Monica is to blame for Otto's association with motorcycles, because she was driving a Volkswagen Bug, and the only way it would start would be to be on a hill and go down and start. So it was time, and Otto did some research, and he found that the Audi 500, they'd done all sorts of research and development for that car, so he decided to buy one. And he went down to the Audi dealership, and there was a BMW motorcycle. So Monica said, "Oh, why don't you buy that too?" So he did. And that was the start of his motorcycle career. And let me see where I am. Anyway, the BMW that he bought was not very fast. So he ended up buying a a big Gullwing, and a Honda Gullwing, and it had a stereo on it, and we would go through the mountains and the canyons of Santa Monica, and we'd be listening to the tales of the Vienna woods flowing through the air as we rode. But that wasn't fast enough, and he ended up buying another bike, and it was a 4-cylinder BMW. And that BMW he tricked out and turned into a European police bike with the blue lights and the wah 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 siren. And he had great delight on the two of us going through the canyons. And as we'd go through a tunnel, he'd turn that light on and it scared the life out of me with the wah wah. Now, the next thing is the trip. And I've been to many, many cities in the world, Paris, London, Australia, Sydney, Melbourne, and a lot of other cities in Europe. And one of the most interesting cities in the world that I've ever been to is Istanbul. And the reason is that he took me on a trip to Istanbul. And also we sailed down the Turkish coast. Otto also invited a dear friend, Floriano Tranca. He was a trusted friend, and when he was first buying cameras, Floriano gave him credit so that he could buy his cameras. Istanbul, what an amazing historical city, with the Bosporus Sea separating the two continents of Asia and Europe. Otto's mother was Byzantine Greek, and she had a little condo, a little apartment with a great view. It was very primitive, but it had a great view, and I guess that's where he decided that every house that he bought had a great view. Istanbul, the Grand Bazaar, the giant San Sofia that used to be a church, then a mosque. We took a ride down the Bosporus Sea to the Black Sea, and then the ferry did a U-turn, and we had a delightful lunch at a restaurant right on the water. We saw a castle above us, so we hiked up to it, and it turned out to be a castle from the time of the Crusades. And standing on the battlements, we could look over into the Black Sea. We did have time for a musical concert, and would you believe we saw Michael Jackson in concert in Istanbul. When we flew down to Marmaris, the coast, and Otto rented a Goulette, a mahogany twin-masted ketch motor sailor that we used to go down the Turkish coast. And as we'd go down the coast, on our right were the Greek islands, and on our left, the historic coast of Istanbul. Let me see here. We saw Cleopatra's bath. We saw a sunken city, of which we snorkeled down to, and many, many, many other historical places as we went down the coast. And the crew actually caught fish and then served us those fish that they caught that day. At our final dock, I continued on travelling and went to the Greek islands of Rhodes and Santorini. So that was my trip with Otto to his home in the city of Istanbul, except that I forgot one thing. His first business was that he had a boat, and he used to lease this boat out to friends and people that wanted to use on the Bosporus Sea. So thank you.
Anybody else would like? Please come.
My name is Jane, and I'm happy to see you all. Otto Nemenz loved women. To be fair, he loved everyone. That's part of what made him so good at what he did. He took care of his people, and his people took care of him. All through COVID, he would say, "People have mortgages to pay," as he kept his entire ONI staff on at full freight. That really touched me. I started working for him in 2021, and it was an amazing experience to share that much time with the man that is Otto Nemenz. I moved to Oregon, and then I came back and was able to work with him again until my back got bad and he needed more lifting, and I just couldn't do that. I wasn't good at it. I had had no experience as a professional caregiver, only that of caring for my mother through her end. It was Jim Schley, who I have to thank for introducing me to Otto. I learned a lot, and I got to do my favorite things: cook, arrange flowers, drive a red Ferrari, and flirt. Otto and I laughed a lot. He was a self-made man who lived the American dream. He shared with me that he was discriminated against in Turkey because he was half Greek, and there was a long-standing conflict between the Turks and the Greeks. And then he was sent to his Austrian father as a teen. He finally found his real home in California, and we're so glad that he did. He was one of a kind, and I'm honored to have known him. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to say something? Please come. Fritz.
I have known Otto for more than 50 years. And between us, I always thought of him as my best friend. There were really no secrets between us. There was, of course, discretion. There was understanding. There was integrity. And there was trust. And thinking about what it does to me, there is, of course, a deep sense of loss. But at the same time, there are many wonderful, shining memories. And that's what I like to remember about him. And one of the things I do remember is his laughter and his smile. And so all I can say, Otto, I salute you. Good speed, my friend.
Anybody else? I'd like to add a few personal words of Otto. One more? Okay, I'm sorry.
I have a friend here with me today. She's a screenwriter, and she needed to go to Cannes and try and get in and see the movies. So she contacted Otto. Otto gave her a letter saying that she was the marketing director of his company, and she got in to all of the Cannes Film Festival, the red carpet, the works. Her name is Ray Rogers.
Please come forward.
Hello. Hey, Otto. I met Otto when I was in my 20s, not that long ago, and used to go to his company in Hollywood and rent equipment. I used to run film sets, first AD and UPM, and I ran into a gentleman back here today that I haven't seen for many, many years that used to work with me, and he worked for Otto and Panavision and a bunch of other companies. Otto was a one of a kind, and I know we all know that. I wanted to watch Grand Prix with him. John Frankenheimer was the director, and I used to be executive assistant to the head of MGM, and Frankenheimer used to come in all the time. And that was an amazing story that Otto had to share about working on Grand Prix, the film, and he got fired. And then the director came, Frankenheimer, and go, hey, we got to do this special race and no one else can do it but Otto. Where's Otto? And they're like, I just fired him. Get him back right now. So Otto had great stories. He spoke, I know in the obituary it said like 3 languages. Otto spoke 5 languages fluently. And I would speak to him in French, and his French was amazing. With the other 4 languages as well. He had such great stories. He shared stories about, when he was, when he had to leave his home because of the Second World War, because of the Nazis, and he had to move around, and he talked about his mother, and he talked about his relationship with his father, and he talked about when the American soldiers came over, and he was such an entrepreneur. What an entrepreneur. And he would get the American soldiers and get nylons from them and chocolates and different things, trade and, show them around. And he said he would never show them the direct route because then they wouldn't need him to escort. So he would take them roundabout, back way, and they'd be, okay, great. Well, please wait for us because we don't think we can get back there without you. So just amazing stories, and I'm so grateful, and I know many of you are, and I've met so many that, having dinner at his place and having such a fun time. I lived right down the street from Otto. I could walk, didn't even have to go through a stoplight, and just not that long ago, somebody was shooting a documentary. I don't know if you're going to be showing it today, a documentary, and I didn't realize they were shooting, and I drove up to Otto's. My brother, who's a captain for American, was visiting and drove up there, and I hop out of the car, and I'm like, hey, Otto! And all of a sudden, I realize there's a camera sitting down of the guys in the middle of shooting a documentary, and I'm like, oh, sorry. But anyway, one of a kind, and he took care of all of the people who worked for him through COVID, as Jane mentioned. And wow, what a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. And I'm so grateful to have known Otto and to have had so many fun times with him. And anyway, thank you. And thank you, Otto.
Anybody else? I did a little interview with Otto about a year ago, and asked him how did he get started in business. He said, my grandmother barely could read and write. I read the newspaper to her every day as a little boy. That's how he got started. She bought and sold pieces of property and I was her silent partner. Can you imagine a little boy being the partner of a grandma? I was always with her. She bought empty lots, no houses. And then the story of the boat. But I'd ask him when he made his first big deal, and they said, well, I had the boat for 2 years and then I sold it, almost the double price I bought it. That was a good deal, he said. I asked him about what was your most joyous time here in America? He said the time filming the Grand Prix. He said there were directors of cameras. We had 18 cameras, 4.5 months going to all the racing circuits. That was I felt the happiest and most used at that time. He says, I love the business. I would not do anything else. I still love it. The Grand Prix was interesting to me. German team, French team, I could speak the languages. And I asked him about all his rewards he got. What was the reward which touched you the most? He said, the Golden Cross from the Austrian government. I felt so good to be honored by the Austrians. So I asked him, what's your goals for the future? He said, to keep going, to make things even better, and to be a good service company to our industry, because we need it. And stay with technology. It is my strength. At the same time, I don't want to be the first one, because you could make the wrong turn. So we look what works and then we jump in. I don't get bored. Many people get bored and look forward to the next vacation. Like many of my Austrian friends, vacation and pension is what they talk about. Urlaub and Pension. The company gives me energy. I would get bored without it. And then I asked him about legacy. What would you say is your legacy? He said, legacy to me means leaving something behind for generations to come. To feel that my team will continue with the same spirit, passion, and vision is a wonderful thought. That's what he expected you. Wow, what a life, what a journey he has taken. At the call of the Heavenly Father, Otto silently closed the doors of his mortal life and entered the kingdom of light, where there is no disease, pain, nor suffering. No disappointments and frustration mixed with pleasures. Rather, it is a glorious life of splendid beauty, freedom, and joy. Let us not hold him back, but send him our thoughts of love, goodwill, and friendship. Otto, goodwill, goodwill, goodwill. May your soul be one with God, our Father, Mother, friend. We offer unto you our bouquet of love, goodwill, and lasting friendship. The white rose represents life in God, purity of your soul, and your good actions. Otto, that rose represents your good actions, and your life in spirit. Now let's all concentrate on the red rose and imbue it with our love, goodwill, and friendship, which we offer then our dear Otto. Just focus on it for a moment. Otto, this red rose embodies our love, goodwill, and friendship, which we offer to you. Love, goodwill, and friendship. Now, the fire represents the soul of the department, which, free from all the limitations of the physical form, is finding now a greater existence in spirit. Slow burner. All the burnt stuff evaporated by waiting. It's coming. So the fire represents the soul of the departed, which now, free from limitations of physical form, is finding now greater existence in spirit. So now I read the Ascension Prayer from Paramahansa Yogananda. Just close your eyes and then follow along. O Heavenly Father, we give this body into the altar fire of immortality. Make it immortal. The ashes of this soul's mortal garment have gathered around the marching feet of Omnipresent and become immortal. As the body dust commingles with the dust of your feet, the soul, fugitive from the bodily cage, merges into your spirit. Let it rest in your bosom, diademed in your heart. The body has retired from the stage of material life, and the soul has gone behind the scenes into our astral home, until you require this to go out and play again. It hides behind the scenes to change its costume of flesh and take a pension after its strenuous role in the drama of this life. Delusion condensed infinity into the finite body, and now transformed into dust, the body is released into the infinite kingdom. The earth elements in the body become all matter. The droplets of the body water become the many seas. The bodily spark becomes the cosmic flame. The mortal breath becomes the cosmic breath. The body-caged sky becomes the endless heavens. The hands become your mighty hands. The feet become your sacred feet. The brain becomes your infinite brain. The little mind becomes your universal mind. The scanty will becomes your almighty will. The wisp of feeling becomes the cosmic volume of feeling. The human love becomes your flawless love. And the soul becomes thine omniscient spirit. Having long played in the storm of delusion and desires, the soul wave has returned to your sea bosom of omnipresence to be renewed with your wisdom and cosmic life. Like a fragrant flower, the mortal body has blossomed and faded. May the withered petals of this life revive into your lotus of immortality. So may this occasion remind us of our true nature, for we are not the physical forms, we are not bodies, rather we are immortal, blissful souls, made in the image of God. From him we have come, and back to him we will go one day. Our beloved Otto has been released from all physical limitations and is now free once more in spirit. Remember that he can receive and will benefit from our loving thoughts. So let us send him our continued goodwill, friendship, and love divine. Now may the blessings of God ever encompass him and draw each one of us to the realization of our own divinity. And let's close with a short prayer. Heavenly Father, Mother, Friend, beloved God, saints of all religions, we bow to you all. May the soul of Otto rest in peace, in eternal bliss, and may he receive our continued thoughts of love, goodwill, and friendship. And may your love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may I be able to awaken that love in all hearts. Om, peace, Amen. And now as we gather around, we play Die blaue Donau, the Blue Danube. Start to celebrate.